Hi there, and welcome to another event with Dublin Coding School. Welcome to the broadcast. So today we're going to be talking about data analytics and a couple of used tools, common tools used by data analysts being SQL or SQL and Tableau. So SQL is a tool that extracts data from a database, and Tableau is a tool that helps you visualize that data. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to hand over shortly to our expert speaker. We're very lucky to have Vinil Thombrey here this evening, who is a senior data analyst at the Bank of Ireland. Vinil is also a lecturer here at Dublin Coding School. You can see our logo here, Dublin Coding School. I'm in the in the jumper, but and he'll actually be taking our next course, which starts on the 27th of September, which will be an 8-week intensive course on data analytics. Just to briefly explain how that works. So if you didn't know who we are, we're the Dublin Coding School, tech education provider. We have courses in obviously data analytics, but also web development, UX, UI design, software testing, cybersecurity. And we also have a career center. So once you finish our course, we help you with your CV, your online presence. And then what we also do is share your CV with partner companies who let us know when they have open roles. And we also, for people who maybe are trying to beef up their CV, who haven't worked in the area before, we look to get you an internship. We partnered with people like Scale Ireland, an association of tech startups, also Trinity Tangent and Launchbox, which are startup incubators here in Dublin. And we partnered with them, and we place graduates as interns in those tech startups to get experience, maybe before they move on to getting a full-time role. But we also look to get you into full-time roles as well. So that's how it all works at Dublin Coding School. I might talk a bit more about that at the end. But for now, I'd like to hand over to Vinil Thombrey, who will take us through this online lesson in SQL and Tableau. Over to you, Vinil. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a million, Luke, for the introduction and having me here. And good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. So my name is Vinil Thombrey, and today I'm going to talk about, introduce you to SQL and Tableau, which are the, most, required skills to be a data analyst. So, Luke, I'll just share my screen quickly.
Yeah, great.
Let me know whenever you can see the screen.
Yeah, it's come up now. I think.
Yeah.
And now that's great. It's looking good as a slideshow. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank
you. By
you.
the way, just before you start, so if you're watching this now live on Facebook, please do type in any questions you might have underneath, and we will get to the questions at the end. We're going to have a quick Q&A at the end. So any questions, just type them in and I'll make note of them, and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Yep. So yeah, just to, introduce myself. So I'm currently working as a senior data analyst in the strategic analytics team within Bank of Ireland. And I've also worked in a company called Mu Sigma as a decision scientist. So I've implemented the data analytics solutions in two companies in the last 5 years. Sorry about that. In the last 5 years, working in different industries. I also hold a master's degree in business analytics from UCD Smurfit Business School. So I came to Ireland in 2017 and did my master's here. So for today, we are going to talk about what is data and where is the data stored, what are databases and relational model. We are going to introduce briefly SQL, that is structured query language, some commands and clauses in SQL, and then we are also going to talk about data visualization, Tableau, and how to build dashboards, and the importance of building dashboards for the senior management. So, okay, to start with, what is data? So it's data are individual facts, statistics, or items of information, often numeric, that are collected through different observations. So these days, data is increasing at an exponential rate, and most of the companies are moving towards data-driven decision making. So for example, when you visit a particular website, they might store your IP address. So that is data. And in return, they can also add a cookie into your browser marking that you have already visited this website. So that is data. So I think data is everywhere, in this digital world today. So what a data analyst does is, he or she helps in decision making, delivers value to the business, and analyze and interpreting the trends. now that we have, we know what data is, where is that stored? So it is stored in a place called database. A database is a collection of related data organized in a way that data can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. So it can be either software based or hardware based, but with only one sole purpose, that is storing the data. And to do that, we need something called as database management system, which is DBMS here. So a DBMS is basically a software that allows creation, definition, and manipulation of database, allowing users to store, process, and analyze data easily. It basically provides an interface or tool to interact with the database. So you might have heard a lot of DBMS already, like MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server. We have Teradata. So there are a lot of DBMS. So in order to use a database, we need we need to model that database, and the most common model is the relational model. So in this relational model, the basic structure of the data, the way it is stored, is in the form of tables. So we have rows and columns. So you can think of it of a relational model as a simple Excel spreadsheet. Like, it has rows and it has columns, and it was introduced in 1970. So it's a quite old model, but a very popular one. So from the slide, if you see, there are three tables that we have. We have student ID, name, and age. We have subject ID, name, and the teacher. And again, the third table, student ID, subject ID, and the marks. So the relational model stores information in different tables, and they can be joined with either primary keys or foreign keys. Again, so this is out of scope for this presentation, but we are going to cover everything in detail during the course. So now so we have learned about what database is, what relational model is. Now we need something to interact with these database, and for that we need SQL, that is structured query language. So it's basically a language that is used for storing and managing data in the relational database management systems. Now there are multiple commands that we can, I'll just give a quick overview of what kind of commands SQL has. So we have like data definition language. So here, this includes the structure of the table, like creation of table, altering the table. So here you can see different commands, and here you can see the descriptions. So you can create, alter, update table, truncate, everything in the data definition language. The next one is data manipulation. So here you can, once the table is created, you can manipulate the data within that table. So again, we have different commands, for that. The third type is transaction control language. So these commands are, they are to keep a check on other commands and their effect on the database. So these commands can annul changes made by other commands by rolling back to the original state. Again, so even TCL, then we have data control language. We can grant and revoke access to particular users. So most of these are used by database administrators. And lastly, we have DQL, that is data query language. So this is the most common one that most of the data analysts, data scientists will use. So the command is select, which usually retrieve records from one or more tables. So now we've learned about SQL commands. So we need something called as SQL syntax to, it's kind of a grammar for any language. So it's basically a set of rules by which elements of a language are correctly combined. So here in the example, we have, let's say, the name of the table is customers. Then we have just consider 10 records. So now in order to select all the rows and all the columns, you can see we have select clause first, then we put star. Star means you are selecting all the fields from that table. Then we have a from clause, and then we specify the table name. So So in this case, it is customers. So this is a a typical syntax of a basic SQL query. So we have multiple clauses like these. So this is select clause, from clause, there are where clause, there is having, group by, a lot of clauses. So select clause is basically used to list the fields that contain data of interest. Again, the from clause will list the table name. Where clause will have a particular criteria. So for example, if you want to query all the data where age is greater than, let's say, 30 years old, so you can put that in where clause. Then we have order by, it's typically used for sorting the data. Then we have group by. So whenever you have any aggregate functions, list fields that are not summarized in the select clause. So we include that in the group by clause. And similarly having as well. So in a SQL statement that contains aggregate function. So we use having when we want to filter filter based on the aggregate function itself. So that's when we use having. So let's start off with the basic clauses, SQL clauses, which is select, from, and where. So if you see the example here, so we have select email address, company, from, contact. So that means this is a table name. And in this table, there are a couple of fields named email address and company. So we are selecting these. And then lastly, we have another clause where city is equal to Seattle. So we want to see, only, for Seattle, what are the email address and company name from this particular table. So this is how we can basically query results from SQL. Now, if, for example, if at the end result you want to order based on the company name, let's say descending order. So what you can do here is select the, again, email ID company from the table name, where city is equal to Seattle, and another clause will be added, which is order by clause, that order by company and descending. So this is the way you can use order by clause. Now, when working with the summarized data, so for example, such as, if you're working with total sales in a month, or, the most expensive items in an inventory, so you might need to use summarized data. And during that time, you will have to use a group by clause. So, group by clause lists the fields that as they appear in the select clause. So for example, if you want to see count the number of email IDs for each company, so what you can do here is select company, then count of distinct email IDs from contacts, and then group by this particular company. So if we add one more variable here, select company, comma, let's say postal code, comma, count of distinct email IDs, we'll also have to include postal code in the group by clause. So this is how the group by is used in a SQL query. Now, having, okay, so what if you want to have you want to query result for the companies with greater than 10 email IDs. So in this, you cannot use where condition, because where condition cannot accept the aggregate function. So in this case, you will have to use having at the end, having count of this email ID greater than 10. So these are basic SQL clauses that that are usually used by data scientists. But then there are a lot of other SQL query, there are a lot of other concepts within SQL, like joins, window functions, and all those things. So everything will be covered in the course. So this is a way you can actually query the data. So now let's talk a bit about data visualization. So till now we have discussed about the basics of SQL and how to query the data from a particular table. But in real life, in organizations, there are multiple databases with many tables, and it's important to learn about joining these tables together and then extracting the data. So like I said, this is out of scope for this presentation, but it will be covered in detail in the course. So now in reality, you won't have just 20 or 100 rows. You will probably have 1 million rows of data, and it is not viable to use to basically visualize the data in the spreadsheet form. So we need data visualization for that, and it becomes really critical. So let's talk about data visualization. So what is it? So it's basically representation of data or information in graphical format, or charts, or some visual representation of the data. So it communicates the relationship of the data with images, and it communicates much better than having spreadsheets. So this is important because it allows trends and patterns to be seen more easily. So it totally this is because the way human brain process information. So using charts or using graphs to visualize large amounts of complex data is easier than these reports or spreadsheets. So it's data visualization gives a quick and easy way to convey concepts in a universal manner, and you can experiment with different scenarios by making slight adjustments. So we'll be also looking at Tableau. So I think you will realize how quickly you can change the visualizations. And there are multiple applications of data visualization, like identifying the key areas of improvement, clarify which factor influence customer behavior. And these days, business needs, they revolve around data visualization. They want BI solutions to help them in, making decisions better. So, business, they have realized that, visuals can communicate more information than a table can, and in a much similar space, place, a smaller place. So data visualization leads to better understanding and allows for better business decisions accurately and quickly. So now, since we know what data visualization is, so there are a lot of tools that are used for data visualization. So we have Tableau, that is, that is the industry leading software. So Tableau, for the 9 consecutive years, Tableau has been leading in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant. So most of the organizations you will see, they will be using Tableau, and we'll be covering Tableau in detail, and there'll be a lot of hands-on experience during the course. So what is Tableau? So it's basically an American company, founded in 2003. But I think recently Tableau was taken over by Salesforce. So it's a BI software, business intelligence software focused on data visualization and analytics. So it can analyze and transform data into visually interactive dashboards in a few seconds or minutes. So and one of the most big advantages of Tableau is they have a wide range of data connections. So you can connect you can just connect your Excel sheets, or you can connect the relational database system as well. So now there are, so we've come up with like 7 steps to design anything or design a dashboard in Tableau. The first step is connecting to a data source, like I mentioned. So we have wide range of data connections that Tableau can handle. So for example, you can directly connect your MySQL server to Tableau, or Teradata to Tableau, or you can connect some Hive or Impala, or maybe just a simple Excel spreadsheet. So the connection options are, there are large number of options. The secondly, you can clean and manage the data within Tableau itself. So for example, if you want to rename some fields, if you want to group fields, create hierarchies, if you want to change the data type, you can do all that in Tableau, and pretty quickly. The third step is creating your first visualization. So Tableau also provides, recommendations on what the first visualization can look like. So there's something called a show me in Tableau, wherein you can select just the 2 fields, and if you are unsure of what type of visualization you should prepare, Tableau will recommend it. So it's pretty easy and straightforward. Fourthly, we have, so you can edit those visualization, make cosmetic changes. Then we can create multiple visualizations and generate insight. So just like one sheet, you can create maybe 50 sheets or whatever, like n number of sheets to create more insights. And after creating those insights, you can take all the relevant sheets that you have created and put them together into something called as dashboards. So I think dashboards are kind of a BI solution for the end users, or your senior management or business users. So lastly, Tableau provides good options in sharing dashboards as well. So you can publish the dashboard to Tableau server, you can publish a Tableau online, and they also have you can access those dashboards from tablets or phones as well. So that's a good advantage of Tableau. So connecting to data source, yeah, like I mentioned, we have wide range of options here. uh, you know Relational database, SQL server. Then next thing is data cleaning, like renaming the data connection, hiding fields, renaming fields. I'll just quickly show how Tableau looks like. So thirdly, creating your first visualization. So basically, you can see on the top right here, there's show me option. So once you select certain variables, Tableau automatically, recommends you different types of visualizations. So that becomes pretty easy. Fourthly, you can also edit those visualizations. So for example, if you see here, this is a simple bar chart for the subscribers by region. Now, if you, this is not the best way to visually represent it. So once you can basically change the colors, sort this, so this can be transformed into something like this, which is more readable. again, we have another example wherein you can, after creating one visualization, you can, it has a lot of editing options, and you can, you can use, different color range and different formatting methods within Tableau. Then, after creating multiple sheets here, you can explore the data sets, by creating different sheets. So we have these different sheets together, and, create more visualizations, based such as maps, or, bar charts, tree map, bubble charts. There are a lot of options that you can do in Tableau. But, again, there are a lot of complexities involved as well. So we'll also look into Tableau calculated fields and parameters within the, during the course, but that is out of scope for this presentation. But yeah, Tableau has a lot of capability in terms of good visual representation. So after you have multiple sheets ready, after you have analyzed the data, you can put those sheets together. So for example, if you see here, we have a customer analysis dashboard. Here you can see different regions and count of customers for different regions, sales, quantity. There are a lot of different KPIs that are on the top for different regions. Then we have sales and profit by customers here, and individual customer ranking. And there is also option for interacting with the dashboard. So I think that this is the way you can create create different dashboards by exploring the data set. And lastly, you can use the most effective way to share a workbook is to publish it with Tableau Server or Tableau Online. So they are published up to date, secure, and fully interactive and viewable by web browser or on the mobile device as well. So just to summarize what we've learned, like it is like we have spoken about SQL clauses, example of SQL queries, data visualization, introduction to Tableau, and how to build dashboards. So let me just quickly show you what Tableau looks like. So this is the general, this is the Tableau software. I've downloaded the trial version here. So now you can basically see, okay, for example, if you want to see subcategories, you can, it's, the functionality is pretty easy. It's just drag and drop. So you can drag these subcategories. And let's say if you want to see for individual subcategories, what are the number of customers? So now these are the number of customers, but again, it's a tabular form. So it becomes difficult to, drive some insights out of it. So what we can do here is Tableau provides something called a show me here. So you can probably, let's say you can click on bar chart and you can see it has already visualized. Now you can edit this visualization. Let's say, for example, I'll first sort it. So, we have sorted it. So we know binders, this particular subcategory had the maximum number of customers. Now, let's say we want to, display the number of customers at the end of the bar here. So it's just dragging this and, dragging it to the label. So, you've just created a basic visualization within, let's say, like I think 20 seconds. But again, there are a lot of other, when you look at different types of dashboards, there is a lot of different level of complexity involved within dashboards. There will be a lot of calculated fields, a lot of parameters within the dashboard, and everything will be covered, in the course, in the Tableau course, and you'll also get the hands-on experience. So yeah, this is how Tableau looks like, and this is what the dashboard is. So please let me know if you have any questions regarding SQL or Tableau.
That's brilliant, Vinil, and thank you very much. And we will get to, by the way, so if you are watching, now would be the time to type in any questions you have. But I had a couple as well, maybe just to get us going. But actually, is it true that visualization, the tool through Tableau where you can share your visualization, that's dynamic, isn't it? So you can send it to someone, but you can update it where you are, and it'll update for them as well. So it's not a static thing like an email, which makes it very easy to share. Is that correct?
That's right. So here you can see something called as Tableau Server. So, once you have access to it, you can probably publish this report. So whatever work I do here, that will be published. At the same time, if I update anything here, and I keep automatic refresh on the server, it's going to update it. It's going to be dynamic. So any changes that are happening on, any changes, those will be reflected to the end users.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so that means you don't have to worry about sending out something to somebody and then suddenly that's out of date and sending them another email. It actually
exactly.
is. Yeah, yeah, that's a really smart tool. So I know a question that comes up quite a lot with people. Maybe we could probably stop sharing the screen now.
Yeah.
A lot of people watch, and I know this question comes up quite a lot, but
Mm.
and it's asked, do you need to be good at mathematics to be a data analyst? I think a lot of people get scared by that if they've
For a
haven't
data
done maths.
analyst, yeah, to start off working on data analytics, you need a good blend of technical and communication skills. When I say technical, it's mostly SQL and some a little bit of Tableau and any statistical language like R or Python. But I would not say it's compulsory to know mathematics in and out, because you can learn on the go. But at the same time, mathematics will be useful for people who are more into data scientist kind of roles rather than data analyst roles.
Yeah. Okay. So not for entry level or getting into data
Yeah.
analytics. It's actually not. So what would be, do you think, the top 3 skills or attributes of a really great data analyst?
So like I mentioned, so the first thing is, you need to have good communication skills, because whatever data, you're working with, you need to present it in such a way that it will be easily grasped by the audience as well. Secondly, SQL, because I think, you will need SQL to access the database, whichever, wherever you go, in whichever company you go. And thirdly, I would say some visualization tools like Tableau, or you need to be good at storytelling basically through the dashboards.
Yeah, storytelling comes up quite a lot, doesn't it? So you
Yeah.
think really SQL or SQL seems to be really important. I mean,
Yeah,
do you think you could be a data analyst without having SQL?
I think it's very difficult, because I think most of the RDBMS, they use SQL. So I think that's a basic thing that a data analyst should know.
Yeah, and of
Yeah.
course, the 3 main areas on our course are, it's broken up into 3 modules for anyone who's watching. It's SQL first, and then then we look at Tableau, and at the end we look at Python, which you mentioned there, which is a coding language but used
Yeah.
by data analysts as well. So look, Vinil, you're obviously working in Bank of Ireland now, and you've been in senior data analyst, so you're quite very experienced. What is it that you really love about the job of being a data analyst?
I think the one thing that I love about this job is you work on different business problems. Data analytics is not just for a particular business area. So what we do is we talk to different teams within the bank. We talk to different clients and identify their pain points and try to build analytical solutions for them. So one day you might be working on data regarding ATMs. The other day you might be working on data regarding entire finance heavy, like interest rates or mortgages or something like that. I think that uh, this level of we have variety of projects as a data analyst. So I think that's what excites me a lot.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And then by stakeholders, what do you mean? Just for anyone who's watching and might think, what's that?
Yeah, stakeholders, as in the end users who will be using the product that we are building, or people who are going to use the data extract that we are going to send them. So those are stakeholders within the business.
Okay, so
Within
they
the
could be anything like the finance department or the marketing department, and they want to find out the information and analyze it, and you help them do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Very good. So what advice would you have to maybe someone who's watching this thinking, maybe I'll try and get involved. Maybe they're working in hospitality or in a different industry. What advice would you have to someone who's thinking about, doing a course and becoming a data analyst?
So I think I would say when you just do a quick Google search on Google search as a data analyst, so it becomes quite overwhelming to see the number of tools that are required, right? So I would say just don't be overwhelmed with the number of tools that you might need to know, because I think as a data analyst you need basic SQL and you need some visualization tool and you need either R or Python. So once you know these 3 things, it's easier to learn everything on the job. So I think yeah, that's one advice that I would like to give. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Look, well, thank you very much, Vinil, for joining us this evening. Well, that's really good presentation. I hope the people watching got a lot out of it. So look, Vinil is going to be leading the next course with us here at Dublin Coding School. He's a senior data analyst at Bank of Ireland. That course starts on the 27th of September. I believe there might also be a few guest speakers coming on board as well, but Vinil will be the main lecturer throughout. leading you through, as we said, SQL or SQL, which is the technology used to withdraw data from a database, Tableau, which we looked at tonight, about visualizing data, those great diagrams, and also then Python, which is, as we said, a coding language which data analysts use. If you are interested in that course, you can check out our website, which is dublincoding.ie, or you can email us on info@dublincoding.ie, or even get hold of me on luke@dublincoding.ie if you do want to take part in that course or any of our courses. And also just to say that our as part of any package with the course, you get access to the Career Centre, and that's where we'll help you with your CV, your online presence. We'll share that new CV then with our partner companies who have open roles. Of the last data analytics class, actually, I think up to 70% of them were placed in internships or roles that we had. We had graduates who started studying at the start of the year, and we placed them with some companies we've partnered with and some startups as well. So they're now working as data analysts, which is great. Hopefully we can do the same for you. And also, by the way, as part of the package, you get to sit the course twice within 12 months. And we're the only coding school that does that. So when you book in, you do the course, you get your certificate, take part in the Career Centre, and then within 12 months, you can resit it to refresh your knowledge. And you might think, why would I do that? It's all very difficult. It's a lot of hard work. But actually, people do it because it's a lot of information to take in. Maybe you're good at SQL, Python, but maybe you wanted to refresh your knowledge in Tableau or whichever it might be. So you know you've got that safety net to do it again, to study again, to make sure you got it. And other people use it if they get into a role, maybe it's in 7 or 8 months, and they want to onboard themselves, they do the course again just to get all the information again. Or maybe you're back on the jobs market and you just want to make sure your skills are there. So that safety net is there. So look, anyway, again, the website is dublincoding.ie, and you can get me at luke@dublincoding.ie. Anyway, I'd like to say thank you very much, Vinil, for joining us. I'll let you say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Luke. Thanks everyone for joining us today, and looking forward to see some people in the course.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, we look forward to welcoming you on the course on the 27th of September. Okay, bye now. And by the way, I'd also like to say a special thank you to Vinil as well, because he soldiered through this evening. He had his vaccine yesterday, so maybe he wasn't feeling the best, but really gritted his teeth and got through it. So thank you very much for doing that as well.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.